Hello and welcome to our special Heart Month edition of One Heartbeat. I'm Katrina McGee, EVP of Marketing and Communications for the American Heart Association, and I am so thrilled to be here with you today. Y'all, this is our 30 minutes to take a break, to breathe, and just be all in with our health, happiness, and overall well-being. Listen, 2020 was a beast, and 2021 is giving us a run for our money. But guess what? We are still here. And you and I, that means the world is full of possibility for us. And that's why today we are issuing an invitation to live fierce, to ramp up your resilience, to opt into something bigger than yourself, and to swap all those challenges life is giving us for opportunity. Check out this quick video to learn more.
The world keeps changing. So my mission is turning challenges into opportunities. I'm opting in, signing up, and using my voice. Today, I recommit to my shine. For myself, for my community, for our health. There is strength in possibility, and new opportunities are coming. With the American Heart Association by my side, I'm ready to thrive. Because we live fierce.
Oh my gosh, don't you just love it? Listen, I don't know if I want to be the older woman boxing or one of the women who's doing jujitsu or meditation or what, but I am here for it. Y'all, it is time for us to live again, fully and completely and abundantly. We already are strong, we're resilient, and this is about tapping into that power inside, to reclaim our lives, our health, and to be all in with our happiness. And today's guests are going to help show us how. But listen, before we get started, I want you and I to co-create this experience. So first of all, introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us who you are and where you're from. And I want you to make a declaration today. I want you to type the words, I want to live fierce. You see, that fight, it starts up here. It's a mindset shift that says, I know there is chaos around me, but even when I can't change the circumstances, I still have a choice. We all have a choice to choose to live fierce. And so that's what we're challenging you to do today. Drop it in the chat. I want to live fierce. Because now once you say it to yourself, now we're going to tell you how to do it. Our two guests are experts at that today. And so I want to introduce you to our first one. Please welcome to the show, Colleen Lindholtz. She is the president of Kroger Health. And y'all, like us, she wears a lot of hats. First of all, she leads a division of 22,000 healthcare professionals that have been on the front lines with vaccine testing and distribution. Whew, I know y'all like me appreciate them. But she also has been a longtime AHA volunteer, and she is the chair of the Cincinnati Mini Marathon and Heart Walk on March 28th. Colleen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Katrina. I love your passion, by the way, and I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Listen, I got to tell you, I'm an Ohio girl. I grew up in Dayton right down the road. So I am so excited that you're with us today.
Well, I am too, and I'm excited to lead the Heart Mini this year. You know, I've been doing this for quite some years. Right out of pharmacy school, started my relationship with the AHA. But yeah, this year I'm honored to be chair.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you to you for all of your leadership and to all of the healthcare professionals that are a part of the Kroger family. Now, listen, I know that y'all do a lot for us. You nationally sponsor us for Healthy for Good, and you have invited your customers to join you in making a difference through our Life is Why campaign. Give us a bit about how that's going and why it's so personally important to you.
Yeah, thank you, Katrina. So first of all, I wanted to say how honored I am to partner with the American Heart Association. I mean, it's all about like where you come from and your vision and aligned goals and mission. And I'll tell you, for quite some time, we have had aligned vision and aligned goals around making the world a better place. So I just have to say how honored I am to be partnered with you once again. And the Life is Why campaign, you know, this is really important to me, both from a personal and a professional perspective. I lost both my grandparents to a heart attack, my uncle suddenly to a heart attack, seen many of my patients that I would take care of when I was behind the counter at Kroger. I'm a pharmacist by trade, lose their lives. And so, you know, it's really important to me that we obviously advance the mission. And I actually have my grandma's heart. I brought it here. About 10 years ago or 11 years ago, when I was part of the Cincinnati division and I ran their pharmacies. We started to partner obviously with the American Heart Association. It was that year that I wrote my grandma's name on this heart, and I've carried it around ever since then. And it actually hangs on my door during this month right now. I took it off this morning, but it's just really important. In life, we all have a why, right? We're all on this healthcare journey. And what I love about our campaign is that we're able to connect our associates with our customers, and actually our associates to other associates in our stores with this campaign. And that was what makes it so great, to see people be able to tell their story or write their grandma's name or their uncle's name or somebody's name on that heart is just extremely important to them. And part of our mission statement at Kroger is to connect with people on an emotional and a personal level, because when we know we do that and we build those relationships, we can truly see behavior change happen. And that's obviously what we're trying to do, right, with a lot of our campaign. So last year, we had a lot of our campaign contained to just Cincinnati for the Heart Mini. But last year, we went to all pharmacies and clinics throughout the entire enterprise, so 2,200 pharmacies and 220 clinics. But this year, we've actually extended it to the front end of our store. So right now, we're currently raising dollars for the American Heart Association across our stores across the nation. So just really proud to be a part of it.
I love that. I love it. First of all, I love it because it includes someone special to you, your grandmother, and it's something personally meaningful. How wonderful is it when you can do what you love and make a difference in a way that is so personally meaningful? Now, one of the things you talk a lot about is food as medicine. And I absolutely believe this. I'm a fruit and veggie girl, but tell us more about what that means and how we all can embrace that.
Yes. So as a healthcare professional and at the Kroger company, we really truly believe in the preventative power of food, right? And that we can prevent disease before it starts. I mean, how awesome is that, right? It makes the hair raise on my arms when I think about it. But we've defined it as a dedicated, educated, and personalized approach to helping people make healthier food choices so we can prevent disease before it starts. About 70% of Americans say that they feel their best, by the way, when they eat a healthy diet. But just, are we getting enough fruits and vegetables? And do we have access to a healthy diet? That's a big part of what Kroger has decided to do too. By the way, we're America's largest traditional grocer. And we believe, by the way, that it's our responsibility and our job to be very transparent with the food that we bring to our customers, and at the same time, make it affordable and also fresh for everyone. So, food is medicine. We're trying to answer three main questions, Katrina, when it comes to this. Questions that everyone has, really three easy questions. The first question is, when you look at a product on the shelf, is this healthy? All of us have looked at products or cans or whatever and recipes and said, oh, geez, is that healthy or not? And then the second question, is this healthy for me? So wherever I am on my health journey, whether I'm a new mom and I just had a baby, or I just got diagnosed with cancer or something like that, or had a heart attack, is this healthy for me right now during my life? And then the third question that we're answering for our customers is, how can I stay healthy? How can I keep myself and my family healthy?
Yeah, I love that. Three simple questions. We're going to break that down, but I don't want to miss one of the nuggets you talked about, which was food as prevention. Here's a little nugget for everybody watching. 80% of heart attacks and strokes are preventable. Preventable. So when you think about food as medicine, this becomes a powerful way to take care of yourself, an easy, simple way. So let's break down what you said. Okay, the first question you said is it healthy? Give us some practical ways people can determine if something is healthy as they're assessing it.
Well, just in general, I mean, by the way, there's all kinds of information out there all over the place, right? All over the internet. And stuff is like really confusing to people. So I think it's really important. That's one of the obviously main initiatives with our food as medicine strategy, is at Kroger, we've built a sort of foundational food scoring system that we have. And it's called Opt Up. And it really helps customers understand from a nutritional standpoint, from a commodity that they're looking at the shelf, which one's better for them. So it's very easy on a scale of 1 to 100. It's red, yellow, green type of thing. But that's what we're doing for people to identify on the shelf. Now, if you're not a Kroger shopper, and there's lots of grocers around the country, simplicity is like trying to spend money in the produce section. I mean, again, fruits and vegetables are great, better for all. And there's lots of things, not just fresh produce, but, frozen items. Some people think that frozen's not good, but, frozen blueberries are good for you, and it's better. They last longer, obviously. You can, keep them around your house a little bit longer, maybe than fresh. And then obviously the canned items that don't have the added sugar or syrups are good for you also. So I
I
just think,
love it. I love that you dispelled that myth about frozen versus fresh, because people think all the time that frozen foods are not good for you, that you can't eat canned vegetables that are healthy. And that is simply not true. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's pivot to the second question. We know how to figure out healthy food. I love that opt up moniker. That's great. That's a simple way we can all live fierce. But what do you mean you say, is the food healthy for me? So this is healthy. What does healthy for me mean?
yeah, so that's where it becomes very personal. And I talked a few minutes ago about everybody's on the health journey in their life, and it just depends on where you are in life. And also it's personal. And we think about culture and taste and what you like and what you don't like. I always said that my dad, being a factory worker, would take a bag of Oreos for his first break when I was growing up. And we're not going to get my dad to go from Oreos to broccoli overnight. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to scale him up to a healthier item, but it also has to taste good at the same time, right? So, I mean, what we're doing on Healthier for Me, there's a lot of things that we're doing. A lot of the more intricate, sort of sophisticated stuff is around DNA testing and personalized nutrition. We plan to go far, far with that. But what we're doing that everyone can take advantage of, by the way, whether you shop at Kroger or not, is that we've offered free telenutrition visits, especially during this pandemic, where you can have a one-on-one chat, Katrina, with one of our registered dietitians, and they can talk about from your preferences to what your overall goals are and really personalize the experience for you. I just think with all the information out there, it's about personalizing the experience more than anything. And we're offering those visits right now free during the pandemic. And I tell you, the testimonials that have come out of those have been amazing. I mean, people are getting behind the stove and the frying pan. They've not been behind there in a long time, if you know what I mean.
Girl, I'm telling you.
And they're trying to, cook healthy for a family in the middle of a pandemic when they're saying, I need to boost my immunity. I want to stay away from this COVID-19 virus. So there are some things that we're working on is this healthy for me? And it's really around personalization.
Yeah, and it's also too just what you like, right? I mean, if you don't like Brussels sprouts, eat green beans. If you don't like green beans, eat cabbage. If you don't like cabbage, find another vegetable. I think there's so many options now when you go in the produce section that I'm convinced there is something for everyone. So if you haven't found it, keep trying it, right?
Even the picky kids, right? The kids that are very picky, you can still find stuff that they like.
Exactly. Okay, so we got, is it healthy? Is it healthy for me? And then how do I keep up with healthy eating? Because I got to be honest. Okay, so I start out with the best of intentions. I'm just going to be honest, but I got sick of everything I knew how to cook. And so like my healthy eating, especially last week when we had all the crazy weather, it kind of went in the toilet. So I need some like inspiration on how to keep up with healthy eating.
So I think it's a lot about trial and error. I think it's about trying new things, right? And trying to opt up to something that's better for you in that same type of category. So if you like tacos, by the way. So we had tacos every Tuesday night when I was growing up. I'm sure that my mom could have found a healthier taco. And if someone would have helped her pick out a healthier shell, right? Or even like a lean ground beef or a turkey or something like that, it could have been healthier for her. But it's really about the education piece. And honestly, too, Katrina, we're working really hard with the large payers in the country. So this is when it becomes very serious. There are a lot of dollars right now that are being put on benefit cards as far as like the food benefit plan is concerned, where we can actually deliver those healthier foods for people and they're paid for by the health plan. So there's multiple things that we're working on and can you change people's behavior, which by the way, behavior change has not been figured out yet in our country, period, end of discussion. And we are trying to do that through gamification, through rewarding people for what they aspire to do, not what they've done in the past. So if you've shopped at Kroger, we've got our Kroger Rewards, our Kroger card, our Kroger Plus card, our loyalty program. We've rewarded people for what they've bought. Well, when customers give us permission, Katrina, we're actually rewarding people for what they aspire to do. So if you aspire to opt up to healthier foods, we're going to help you do that and give you options and samples and recipes and things like that. So there's just some of those things that we're working on.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so our 3 questions, y'all write these down in the chat. Is it healthy? Is it healthy for me and my family? And then how can I keep this going? One of the things I have is an accountability partner too. We swap recipes. We challenge each other in love. This is not to beat anybody up, but just to say, hey, what can we do to eat just a little bit healthier? Y'all, all we're asking you to do is take that one step, right, Colleen?
Yeah, that one step and make it fun. right? And then know that it's a journey in life. And know, by the way, that it's like a total Bascart score. So we're not going to slap people on the hand when they want to buy a birthday cake. Of course, we're going to celebrate birthdays, right? But what are we doing holistically to take care of ourselves, both from a food standpoint, Katrina, and a fitness standpoint? So that's some of the other components of our food as medicine strategy, not just the food, but the behavior and the activity type of stuff. So you'll see us come out with that in 2021.
Yep. And I am so glad you mentioned fitness, because our next guest is going to rock it with tips on that. Colleen, thank you so much for joining us today and for all you do for the AHA, the Kroger community, and our community at large. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you, Katrina. Happy to be here. Thank you.
All righty. So y'all got tips on healthy eating now. You know the 3 questions to ask yourself. The big thing is to take that one step. Eat something healthy for you today. Part of Live Fierce is making the good decisions that are in your own best interest. So we have it on the food side. Now we're going to talk about exercise, and I'm going to welcome our second guest. Joining me is Dr. Rachel Reed. She is the Senior Director of Science and Research at Orange Theory Fitness. Orange Theory is in a multi-year commitment with the American Heart Association to get communities healthy. And we are so excited that you joined us today. Welcome, welcome, Rachel.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I just want to say thank you. And, we love having our partnership with AHA because just like Colleen said, OTF and AHA are 2 brands that really share those same mission, vision, and values of bringing people more life, right? It's not just about the lifespan. We like to talk about it being about the health span. So it's that quality of life, how to maintain that quality throughout the years.
Absolutely. It is healthy quality years. I heard a volunteer say to me one time that, people expect to get sick, but they don't expect to be well as they age. So I love partnering with companies like yours who redefine what it means to age, who redefine what it means to be healthy and look forward to life abundantly. But now I got to ask you, because you're Dr. Rachel Reed, you have a PhD in exercise physiology, and I understand your role is to marry health science with heart science. But Rachel, I just got to ask you, what in the world made you want to get a PhD in exercise physiology? Tell us a little bit more about your journey.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking. I have always felt like my calling in life is to bridge the gap between academia and the community. There are decades and decades worth of high quality, evidence-based, randomized controlled trials, longitudinal trials that suggest that regular physical activity is so important for tons and tons of health outcomes. And I know we'll touch on those in a bit. But despite that mountain of evidence, there are so few people worldwide, and especially in the US, who actually participate in physical activity. And so I feel like, it's part of my role and part of OTF's role in the fitness industry to really speak up and be the grownups in the room and to help promote physical activity and to help people know that it's something that everybody can do. And so I feel like if I can help just a couple of people do that, then, my life has been well worth it.
Yeah, I love what you said about being the grown-up in the room. I always tell people, get out of your head without adult supervision, because sometimes we get to running around and the things we say to ourselves are in our own detriment. But, I read something that you said about decreasing your resting heart rate increases your overall health for the long term. And that was so inconsistent with what I thought, because, I thought we all have to be jumping up and down and get that heart rate up, which would increase your resting heart rate. Explain exactly what that means and how, just like a couple of things we can do to be healthy throughout the day.
Yeah, so let's talk about what resting heart rate is in general. And I think very simply put, it's the number of times your heart is beating per minute while you're at rest. So while you're not participating in physical activity. And when we think about physical activity, I want you to remember that there are lots of different ways that we can be physically active. A lot of people jump right to exercise, which is maybe what you think about when you think about Orange Theory Fitness, right? It's a 1-hour workout, it's a multivitamin, right? But you can also be physically active throughout your day. You can be physically active at home, physically active at work, physically active in your leisure time while you're playing with kids or grandkids. And what we know about the benefits of physical activity, again, are so vast. And we like to think about them in really 2 categories. One, these acute benefits of being physically active, or maybe how you feel after one physical activity session. Like you've got more energy, you feel less stressed, stress. Those are all really good things. But then you also have these chronic adaptations to having a physically active lifestyle, which means, after you've been regularly active for several months in a row, you start to see these really cool adaptations happening in your cardiorespiratory system. And one of those is that your heart becomes more and more efficient over time. And we know that, if you do have a lower resting heart rate, oftentimes that's linked to improved cardiorespiratory fitness, and better cardiorespiratory fitness is linked back to that longevity that we were just chatting about earlier, right? So that's going to increase your ability to live longer, but live a healthier life with a higher quality. And so just getting, and this is such a key message, just getting, about 150 minutes of that moderate intensity physical activity a week is really, really important for your health. That's the optimal dose, as we like to say. But if that's too much, you can start by just getting 5 or 10 more minutes a day. It can be really, really small amounts of added physical activity that have a huge bang for the buck.
I love that. And thank you for dispelling that myth. I mean, 150 minutes is not that long, right? So that's like 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, right?
Yeah.
That's the outside walk. I love that. That's participating in the Heart Walk, March 28th. I mean, there's so many awesome ways you can do that with family and friends. And I love that you talked about using everyday life to be more physically active. As we have gone through the pandemic, more and more people have had increased anxiety and depression. And so physical activity has become even more important. Can you talk for a minute about how physical activity improves your overall mental health?
Absolutely. This is one of my very favorite things to talk about. And I like to think about the benefits of physical activity falling into 3 buckets, because I think it helps people remember them. The first bucket is this decreased risk of almost every kind of chronic condition and several infectious conditions that you might think about. So these are things like a decreased risk for heart disease, for type 2 diabetes, for hypertension, high cholesterol, lots of different types of cancers. That's the first bucket. The second bucket is improved physical function. So allowing you to move about your daily life with more ease, with more confidence, managing your weight a little bit better. And then the third bucket are these mental benefits of regular physical activity. And there's so much research pointing to the fact that regular physical activity, or accruing that dose of about 150 minutes per week, plus some strength training thrown in there, that's also important, is going to help lower your risk for things like depression. It's going to lower the severity of depressive symptoms, of anxiety. It's going to increase your feelings of energy and decrease your feelings of fatigue. I mean, these are all things that I know we're probably all sitting there being like, check, check, check. I need all of these benefits, right? And I think it's really cool when you think about, these benefits as they're listed on the AHA's website. They're not just arbitrarily thrown up there. There's so much research pointing to the fact that these actually have really, really meaningful decreases in risk for these types of conditions. So super important.
Are so right. And I love how you and Colleen are aligned around the prevention side of things in terms of food being medicine, and you talking about the prevention and the reduction of risk that even moderate physical activity can do. That's so important. Y'all, this is what it means to live fierce, to understand how you can reduce your risk, to take those baby steps and to opt in to your best health. I'm telling y'all, we can do it. But Rachel, we need a little motivation from you too. So give us just 1 or 2 tips to get out and get moving.
Okay, so first one, social support. I heard you and Colleen talking about the accountability piece. That's so important. There's actually a ton of research suggesting that if you do have that social support, whether it's a friend, a family member, a coach at Orange Theory, somebody helping to hold you accountable, that's really going to help. And if you don't have that social support, you can actually sort of play that role for yourself with self-monitoring. Self-monitoring is a behavior change strategy that's been shown time and time again to really help people put their foot on the gas there. And then I think the last takeaway is to shift your mindset. A lot of people, when it comes to physical activity or exercise, think you have to go all out or it's not worth it. And that's really, really not the case. And again, there's so much research pointing to the fact that if we can make tiny changes over time and meet these micro goals that we set for ourselves, like a 5-minute walk today, maybe a 10-minute walk next week, if we can start to achieve those micro goals, then we're going to be set up for better success in the long run.
I love it. Thank you so much, Rachel, for being here today and for all you and the Orange Theory family does for the American Heart Association. Listen, y'all, I cannot believe it, but we are closing in on the end of our 30 minutes. Has this not been powerful? Let me do a quick recap for you so you can walk away with some good nuggets. Colleen talked about food as medicine, how we can make healthy choices. Is it healthy for me? Staying more time in the produce aisle, opting up to the next best thing for me. She also said, figure out what's right for you. So listen, if you have blood pressure, maybe you're reducing your salt. Whatever it is that's right for you, your family, your taste, your interest, choose that and don't give up. Keep trying until you figure out the fruits and veggies that are right for you. And then she talked about how to stick with it. You know, what was consistent across both Colleen and Rachel is the importance of the social support, not giving up and sticking with it. And then Rachel gave us some good nuggets about exercise and physical activity. Chiefly that you don't have to spend an hour working out every day to make a big difference. Listen, I know we're all busy. We are super busy. But if you invest 5, 10, even 15 minutes in yourself, you can find your fears. You can opt into your own best health and live your best life. So Colleen and Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of the AHA family and for all that you do. I hope those of us that were watching have been inspired to make a difference, to take the small step. As a matter of fact, let's be accountable. In the chat, I want you to put the one thing you're going to do this week to live fierce. Are you going to eat healthier? Are you going to get out and get moving? Are you going to do both? What is your live fierce next step? Because as Rachel said, micro steps, they make a difference. And listen, to every AHA volunteer and supporter who is watching, thank you for being a part of this great mission and all the work for longer, healthier lives. For a recording of today's program and to get tips and to share with your family and friends, please be sure to visit the One Heartbeat website. Listen, if you're like me and you are sick of everything you know how to cook, there are free recipes on the website too. So listen, thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you health, happiness, and wonderful well-being. Have an awesome day and go live fierce.